Tech issue. Sorry. Hi, this is Sergeant Beast Larson. Just call me Steve. I'm beginning a new podcast, something a little bit different, going out and changing a bit of the norm on my YouTube channel. I began as exercise videos, got into correction, law enforcement training type videos. And I want to branch out to something that's kind of very dear to me. I lost a couple people to suicide from PTSD issues. So the idea came and I want to do this. I'm not an artist. I want to explain a few things. This is just the beginning, basic here. But the podcast is going to be called Painting for PTSD. And it's not just painting, whether you color, the adult coloring books, crafting of any type, designing, building, painting cabinets like this. Kitchen cabinets. I'm sitting in the kitchen. And I do have a nosy cat here about to jump on my lap. Painting for PTSD. It's an important issue. It's an issue that is not the PTSD, mental health awareness, the help, the support, especially in adolescent age. A lot of bullying going on. But the reason for this podcast is for me, for you, for us to listen, to be present, to talk about subjects that might be hard. I've done other podcasts, for instance, and I've had people tell me, I've talked about PTSD, and they tell me that they've been attacked, they've had to defend themselves using deadly force in a home invasion. I've had people tell me they're human trafficked, sexually assaulted, bad domestic violence situations. They've been through a lot. And a couple of the comments that they shared during another podcast, they really traumatized, obviously, from this. So this is the beginning. This is episode 1, just the introduction. Not painting or anything tonight. I just want to tell you what I want to do and what we're here for. And we meaning my wife. My wife is a painter. She is very crafty. Hello, Chris. Thanks for joining. And this, I don't have a designated time yet, a date. Please, if there's a time that you would like to do this. And my goal is to bring people that's been victims. Like I said, murder, sexual assault, kidnapping, human trafficking, domestic violence, bullying, anything that's causing stress. Now, let me tell you where I come from. I'm a former military, Air Force. After high school, I got into law enforcement, worked and retired as a police officer in 2008. I've been on 2 SWAT teams, worked in security, and got into corrections when we moved down to Georgia for my daughter to go to college. My oldest. Now I have 2 girls and a boy. I've been through some trauma. I have seen death like unbelievable. And in working in the prison, what I saw, hello everybody, hi Kay. Thanks for joining everybody. The things that I've seen in prison and law enforcement, the death, the suffering, the torture. I went into a dorm one day, I was a sergeant, I supervised isolation units, and I had to go see somebody in general population. So I walked in the dorm, and an inmate was over looking up in the control booth above, like in the middle, and causing a disruption. I went over to kind of calm him down, and I'm looking over my shoulder, making sure, 62-man dorm, everything's cool, nothing going down. And, don't see anything. I'm trying to get him to settle down. He had a question. He was upset. I answered the question. And then I hear a holler, and I look over my shoulder. He was the decoy, and when I looked over my shoulder, what I saw was an inmate on the stairwell stabbing another inmate while trying to undress and rape him at the same time. Now, that incident doesn't cause me PTSD. The interview with both of those doesn't cause me PTSD. But when you live in an environment that you think all that stuff is normal, you've got to admit that you've got some issues going on because it should bother you. So the reason for this, and everybody, I always ask, please let me know what state, what country you're from. And if there's a date and a times, I'm kind of flexible. I'm retired. I'm disabled. No, I had spine surgery. So much going on in my life in the past, special teams and running and everything. What's normal? That's a great question, because that's right here and coming up here on my notes. What is normal? My family, both of my daughters have been assaulted. I went and picked up my oldest daughter and her baby that was about 10 months old. And she was skin and bone. My wife and I, we went. She was skin and bone. And this baby daddy, a bunch of people there, he had tried to beat her. Well, he was hitting her, slammed her on the coffee table. Bruises everywhere. Picked up a 2x4 and tried to hit my grandson. And my daughter, I taught her how to fight. I've taught self-defense. Just look at my channel. Please subscribe, Sergeant Beast Larson. Hit that button for me. Hit the like button. And she opened up a can of whoop ass on him and prevented him from beating a 10-month-old baby with a 2x4. I've seen trauma that's happened to my family, to my children. Painting for PTSD. What I want to do, and I've always wanted to paint, and what I'm trying to do is to put down the gun and the knife that I always have in my hand, training equipment, and I want to find an outlet. I want to help people that have issues to find an outlet. I want to talk while we're painting, painting in cupboards, painting, coloring books, the adult books, like I explained, anything, crafting, chalk paint. My wife and I, we go to the Goodwill and we'll find little things, find like an old wooden trash can somebody had, clean it, sand it down, put some chalk paint on it, get it out, and do something different. Being creative. So I want to have an outlet, and this is not just for veterans, it's for anybody. A place to talk. Not like Dr. Phil channel, it's a safe place to talk. Dr. Phil's not here. It's just me, Steve. My background, I told you, corrections, after law enforcement. And, getting through all that, or something that you don't realize is, like I said, you lose. What's normal? Normal is not going to your friend's funeral. Hey man, I'm sorry, bro. Go up there, say your piece, close your eyes, say a little prayer, walk away. Didn't faze you. Your face is like this. And you go to a funeral, and your face looks like this when you go to a wedding. And your face looks like this when you go to Thanksgiving. That's not normal. There's no emotion. And what I found when I retired from police and going to my wife's Uncle Andy's funeral, he lived down the road and we'd cook and take food to him. He's half a mile away. He disabled, had a heart attack, had some serious things, lived alone. When he passed, 20 years of emotion came out of me. And that was the first step of me accepting that maybe something's there. It's not right. So the question, what is normal? What is normal when you go as an adult to somebody in your family that's close and they pass away? It's normal to shed a tear and cry at their funeral. And we were there when he passed. They took the machines off. He was in the hospital 7-8 months, infections, other heart issues and stroke. He just could never recover to get out. And we were there. We watched him. We held his hand, and he passed. And he was a recovering alcoholic. He was sober a little bit over a year. Great stories, great intelligent man, fun to talk to. And then he passed. Emotions came out. And then I'm in private security, then I'm in different jobs. And my emotion and my feeling, the PTSD, I'm watching police are getting killed, and that bothered me. It was tough, it was difficult. PTSD is a real thing. I gotta take a breath, I gotta take a sigh, because things happened and things changed. Another death in the family. Very close to him, my wife's cousin, 2 years sober, dialysis after coming out of prison. Proud of him, we had a great time talking. It was like a cat and a mouse thing. Because I was the police and retired. and he was 20 years was an addict. We miss him. This is what's normal, is to feel sadness and feel hurt. You have to have that. When you lose that and you watch TV and you're flipping through the YouTube shorts and you're flipping through the TikTok and you watch the protests, you watch the violence, you watch people in plane crash, you watch the cars run over somebody, all those things, that's not normal. Expecting playing these games of death is not normal. It takes away what's inside here. So I want to get this going. And this weekend or early next weekend, I'll advertise and I'll post again. Painting for PTSD. We're sit down and talk. I'm in some groups on Facebook, some private groups that of people dealing with mental health issues. I've met several people that have posted in correction groups I'm in, saying that they've got a gun and they want to harm themselves. You know, self-harming kind of comments. And I've contacted and talked to them, and I've talked to them for 4 or 5 years now. We still talk. So thanks everybody for joining. Thanks for the comments. Sorry about the comments that are inappropriate and rude. You'll understand what PTSD is one day. So what is normal is being a human being and not being a robot. Not letting the government create you. Spent a whole life, 30-year career in law enforcement with violence, with weapons, with workout, run, you know, like a robot and a routine. Eat my chicken, eat my protein. And my whole day was on a cycle. That's not normal. And I'm happy that I retired and got away from that. So we're going to begin and paint. My wife paints. She does crafting things. She'll be in and out of some videos. You know, sitting out here on the couch, rearrange furniture for Christmas, got an open space. And we'll just be crafting, and I'll talk about things. I'll talk about incidents. You know, like today when I was in a military station in Turkey in 1987, 88. And I was underneath a tower, and the Turkish sergeant went up the stairs and shot the guard right over top of my head, 10 feet over top of my head. And I'm looking up. And he just shot him right over top of me, and I had to roll over and move because here comes the blood and coming down. And he went back down, had some of his Turkish people walk up there, grab the guy, drag him down there, boots thumping on the stairs. I'm laying down here, blood's dripping down. This guy's dead. Shot in the head right over top of me. Another guy goes up there and he's scared to death. Then I have to leave where I was at and get to safety without somebody shooting me at the same time. Incidents like that you think, you know, aren't anything. But when I talk to my wife and my family, talk to people about this, that's not normal to be underneath and watch, you know, foreign countries, military, shoot somebody in the head right over top of you like that. So I want to begin some drawing and painting. I'm probably a terrible painter. Doesn't matter, I'm going to paint. It's an expression. I'm going to find a way. Situational awareness, yes. Yes, I Firex, thank you for that. I should write a book. Actually, I've written 2 books, Mayhem the Truth. They're on Amazon. The first one is called, and I believe here, I got a second device here. Let me get this pulled up. I'll put the names of my books you'll find interesting. My first book is called Officer Perception, Surviving Danger. I have a writing partner, Tim. My second book is Why People Kill, and it's about serial killers, about murderers, mass murderers. What is causing them to do this? Not medicine. Not medicine. Yes, thank you. It's the desire. You know, we watch that show in the morning. You know, what do you want? Let's make a deal. Door number 1, door number 2, or take the envelope. People keep choosing door number 1, which is murder. It's the easy way out too many times, by opportunity. Why did OJ kill? Easy. He didn't want to pay child support, didn't want them in her life. He wanted to just shut the book, close the book, erase it, blank page, start a new life, and have nobody bothering. I'm just typing the name of the book right here. Okay, that's the first one. There you go. There's the two books. They're on Amazon. They're about $12, $13 in paper book. You can download them, the Kindle version to listen, or Kindle version to read. But I talk about corruption. What causes PTSD the most? Corruption. And there's a comment before asking me, did I kill George Floyd? No, I didn't. But the idiot officer, and I called him an idiot officer. I'm a police officer. I've taught self-defense, exactly what he should have done, and he failed. And he should have been charged, like he was, for manslaughter. They couldn't prove that he intentionally wanted to do this prior to that incident. That's why it wasn't a murder. But I made a video and I talked about that. Look at my YouTube channel. I talk about self-defense, correction, law enforcement. I also identify problems. But corruption has caused me some of the biggest problems in my head. For instance, I worked with 3 officers on the sheriff's department that assaulted domestic violence, their wife. I'm talking choking, marks, bruises, eyes, cut lips. 2-3 months later, they promoted to sergeant. Come to find out, their parents wrote a big donation to the political party, and they got promoted. Here I go spend 90 days studying for the test, the written test, prepare for the oral interview, finish first out of 10 people, 9 people. I tried 3 times, finished first every time on an oral interview. Written tests were always high, never got promoted. But they promoted guys that assaulted their wife or did other things that were criminal, and then somebody writes a check to the political party, to the sheriff, and then there's a promotion. That causes me stress because they treated other people. Professional yapper. Hey, thanks. I don't like the corruption. I don't like that. I don't like the hatred. So we're going to sit down, put a camera out there. I'm going to talk about some things, read some comments and talk. I'm going to post this in some groups and get some folks that I know that are really struggling mentally. And we're just going to sit and go with it. We're going to go with it. I want to thank everybody tonight for joining. If you're going to come back about 9:30, keep an eye out. You'll see the link on my page. Prepper, I have another podcast, a weekly podcast, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So 45 minutes coming up. The Prepper and Beast Hour. We talk about safety and security, survival, prepping. Tonight's topic, we're talking about airport and international travel security. Some tips that you don't hear on TV, from the news, from your travel safety advisory, from the Fox and the CNN folks. We're going to talk about the things that they don't say. How to survive in the airport for some really bad situations. It's not just, you've got to have stuff in a 4-ounce bottle and don't do this and don't do that and be aware of delays. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about physically surviving when it's violent as hell. So join us tonight. You'll see the Prepper and Beast Hour. Thanks again, everybody. I enjoyed, this is the introduction. There will be very soon, I'll post again. Sitting down, you're going to see me with some canvas, paper, paint by number thing, just going to sit and relax. And I'm just easing and getting some things out as I transition from this career into a non-law enforcement life. Thanks again. Have a great night. Briar Rose 2. Thank you. Thank you. Just keep an eye posted. Hit the subscribe button so you know when it's coming. Have a good night.